Alright, welcome back to my channel. Garage is a little bit different. I reconfigured that a weekend ago or so I'll be looking for all my stuff that I had nicely put away but can't remember where it is. Today we're going to be working on my 2008 BMW 335 Xi Coupe. I got a 3100 code. Which I'm going to assume is the boost solenoids, so I purchased those. I got two, of course. You don't necessarily have to do that with yours. If you can troubleshoot it with 12 volt and figure out which one was bad, maybe only one's bad, you replace one. But I bought two. It was 162 bucks shipped to my door, and we're gonna install those today. All right, let's take a look at what we got. I had these pretty much disassembled when I did the inlets and outlets on my car earlier. Here we go. It's the part from Germany. Two 10mm bolts. One top, one bottom. It's on the heat shield on the passenger side of the valve cover. Also, got both of these out. I think I said it was two 10mm bolts, but it's actually two 10mm nuts. Kind of the same, but different. Got a little bit of vacuum line, so we'll replace a few of the short pieces just because. I went with blue, I got blue and black, so we'll get it figured out the best way we can. Looks the best and cleanest job we can do. I'm gonna save the boxes because I'm gonna put my old ones in there. I also want to troubleshoot them too with my jump box as well, so that way we know for sure if one's bad. Maybe my code ain't for these, and they're both still good. But either way, I'll show you what's going on here. Also, I got this pretty sick car cover as a gift for my birthday from my mom. So it originally it had little straps so you could strap it underneath so it wouldn't blow off if it was outside, but my car won't be outside, so I got rid of those. It fits incredibly good. I wish I could remember where I got it, but no, it does a really good job. Put it up for the winter, keeps the dust off it, keeps my mascot, my garage mascot, who's itching like crazy, keeps all his hair and dander or whatever you call it off of it as well. So I can pull it out, do a quick cleanup this summer, and hop in and go. All right, like I said earlier, your two boost solenoids are located on the passenger side on the heat shield, right underneath the valve cover. So I'm probably gonna pull this guy off just so I can see a little bit better. And then you have your coolant reservoir right here as well, that all your vacuum lines are clipped to your vacuum canisters. So I don't think I'm going to pull any of that because this is not that labor intensive of a job. So two 5mm Allens for the valve cover. I don't have my third and fourth one. It's a BMW, so yeah, you're pulling it off all the time, so why make extra work for yourself? Make it simple. Trusty 5mm, and it's getting pretty cold here right now, so it's not excessively cold as we speak, but rain's coming, so yeah, just do a few things on the car. I was actually driving down the road the other day and passed a few cars when I got this code, so, and excuse the neighbor kids in the background. I think you've heard them on my videos before, but anyways, those two Allen keys, pop this guy off, slide him out, wipe all that stuff down when we're done too. And then I'll go get my ratchet and some sockets, and we'll start pulling the stuff apart. Alright guys, just want to recap. I pulled the coolant line off. You just use a pick tool right here. Pull up this little retainer clip, pull this off just to give myself a little bit more space to get in there. The car is cold, it hasn't been ran, so I did get a little bit of coolant drip out, but nothing serious. So just keep in mind, you probably want to cool it down if you're going to do this. This engine bay gets extremely hot in the first place. So anyways, I unclipped all the vacuum lines off of the coolant reservoir, and we're going to get some 10 millimeter, probably a socket for this one, or a ratchet. There's two of them, one top, one bottom, and mine shouldn't be tight because I'd already taken all this stuff apart previously anyway. So also, I just wanted to say that right there is a miracle. Anybody that knows anything about working on cars, two 10 millimeter sockets at the same time, damn, this day's looking up for sure. All right, just so everybody knows, hope I can get a good picture of this or a good video. Those are the two boost solenoids. You got one right here. There's the connection, and then you've got the other one right here. There's the connection for that one. So literally slide these, push that up, releases it just like that. Okay, we can tuck that away, and then you can kind of see what I'm talking about. There's your first 10 millimeter bolt. Come on, focus. 10 millimeter, and then you got another one right below it. So we'll start pulling those off now. Spot's a little hard to record and take off, so let's get your 10 millimeter in there. I'd have to get an open end wrench so I don't have to pull this reservoir out. Vacuum canister right in the way. So it's gonna be tight, so just be patient. I mean, I already pretty much just broke it loose just by doing that. Like I said, I've had these off before, so shouldn't be no big deal. Let's pull them off again, but we'll see. So on the bottom one, I just came back in behind it and just, I mean, they're finger tight, so back it off a hair, and then I'll use the other socket that I have right here to take them the rest of the way off my hand. So it's a little tricky though because it's tight. Maybe I should have did this when I had the whole thing taken apart, but not really in the business of putting parts on it doesn't need. That could get expensive, and these cars are expensive to maintain. In my opinion, if great car for tuning and getting good horsepower out of, but probably not the best platform to start with if you're on a budget, in my opinion. Especially now, I mean, if you get it at a reasonable price, 10, 12 grand, they're still gonna need, you know, valve cover gaskets, oil pan gaskets, and all that stuff, just because it's, you know, you get 80 to 100,000 miles, or some cars in 60, and you'll need that anyways. So no matter how good they're maintained, and try not to drop that bolt, which I'm pretty sure I just did, but we'll get her. Come on, baby. Do I see it? Oh yeah, I see it. So it landed right down there on the heat shield, so I'm gonna go get a magnet so it didn't fall underneath. All right, so just pulled it out with a little magnet. You don't really need a whole lot of tools to do this, not, you know, too many parts, but boost solenoids and some vacuum hose. So basically, have my vacuum line that I replaced, which is right here. Pull that off, pretty straightforward. And then you have, it's teed onto the other one, so I'm gonna assume they work in unison. So I'm just gonna see if I can't get that to come off. If not, I'll have to cut it and then just put a little piece there, but let's see what I can do here. All right, well that guy had been on there for a minute, so what I did is I took a razor knife and I cut the hose. It's got a hard plastic T right here, so I'll just cut the other side and then replace that and see if I can get that. And you kind of got to peel it back off of here with this razor knife. That's how long it's been on here. So doesn't want to come off very easy, that's for sure. Suctioned on there and shit. Heat wrapped, heat shrinked on there. This has been on there so dang long. Can't get this guy off. Felt like it just released. Yep. Well, focus. It's got this little hard plastic T that goes in there, and after time, this guy right here was just freaking stuck like Chuck. So I just cut both ends with a razor knife, pulled it off, and then I'll duplicate it when I reinstall it. So this is all factory line here, but yeah, we'll see. All right, so I took a like piece of this, cut it, installed it. A little hard plastic T that I showed you goes in there, and then the vacuum canister goes in here, two 10mm bolts. Plug it in and we're in business. So pretty simple. All right, we got the first one in there. I started the nut by hand. All we have to do is take the vacuum canister line and, sorry about that, install it onto, you see it, there's a nipple right here. Put that bad boy on there. Can't really see what I'm doing, can you? Pretty self-explanatory. Seat him all the way down on there. Put your T on there, your replacement piece, and throw the two bolts on, plug it in. So I got the top bolt in, all the vacuum lines plugged in. Put that rag down there because I think the hardest part of this is getting that nut back on that lower one, and if it falls down in there, then I gotta take all the, lift it up, take all the plastic shrouds out and all that stuff. So if it falls down on that rag, I can just use a magnet. So let me get that guy started and then work on the back one. All right, yeah, definitely took a little finesse and two hands to get that lower bolt there. I mean, you can remove the vacuum canisters and the coolant tank, but we didn't, so we know it's doable, which I knew it was doable. You just got to get both hands back in there and then get them finger tight and you should be good to go. We're gonna move on to that next one, and yeah, that one should be a little easier. So that back one, it worked a lot easier to get it with a 10mm short and then a 10mm deep for the bottom one, but yeah, they came out pretty easy. Well, I mean, one turn there loosened up, so now I'll put a socket on it and then just back them out with just a socket. All right, the back one's the same theory. One 10mm here and one below it, and then you have your power. Disconnect that. So you can, I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory. This one's longer, so obviously it's going to go towards the front if you're not labeling them, and then the shorter one goes to the back. So that's pretty much how most of this car is configured. And then I slid my rag down just in case, but we're gonna do the same thing. We're gonna cut this guy right here, this little, hand out of the way, focus, that little tube, or vacuum line, excuse me. We're gonna cut that, pull that guy out and add a little extender on there and then bolt it back up, plug it in, and test the old ones and see if this was actually the issue. But hey, you can't go wrong with new parts. So I got a lot of new parts in here. So the only other thing on the 3100 code, it said CEL, which the CEL has to do with your cats, which or your O2 sensors on your cats. Well, I have catless downpipes on this car, and I bought the defowlers, which don't work all the time. I don't know, maybe I'll be putting new O2 sensors on it too, but hopefully not. Hopefully this fixes the issue. Guys, something else super important to take into account is these little plastic tees and all this plastic in here is gonna be super brittle. So when I'm cutting it with a razor blade, I'm just like going super softly. That way I'm just going through the skin of the vacuum line and really not into the plastic. Pretty sure I could buy a new tee, worst case scenario, but we're not about trying to just break shit just to buy stuff. So anyways, just food for thought. Keep that in mind when you're putting these together. And then maybe I can get you, see the two studs, one on top, one on bottom. Those are attached to this heat shield. So like I said, I've had mine off, cleaned it up spotless. That's why mine looks super clean. But yeah, that's where your two 10 millimeter nuts go, and then, you know, maybe finger tighten another turn and you're good. So we'll put that little piece on there and move on. So also, this is the vacuum line that I'm using. You can see the website right there. It was really cheap. It's good quality silicone hose for sure. It's possibly better than the factory for heat cycling and all that stuff, but anyway, super handy to have a bunch of this lying around for projects like this. It's helped me out more than a few times. All right, so we got the little piece on there that we had to cut off. We will hook that into the new boost solenoid, hook my vacuum line from my vacuum canisters back up, and bolt that up and start tidying some of this stuff up. All right, we got our vacuum lines back in their little retainers. Connect this back up again. Good to go. Let it click. Got the two 10 millimeter nuts on that. Got our vacuum line plugged back in. We can now plug these back in, and should be good to go. So I guess another good point to talk about is I didn't test those to make sure they fit before I did all this work. I just assumed they were the right parts. So, well, they are, because they plugged in. So anyways, food for thought. If you do this, and everybody knows, anybody that watches this, I'm like the issue man when it comes to parts and stuff like that. So maybe I'll learn my lesson someday. Pull my rig out, give everything a visual, and then we'll see if we can test those old boost solenoids. All right, just real quick, kind of just doing an overview of the work I just completed. I like to look at all the fittings and connections and all that stuff just to make sure everything's good. The car's full bolt-ons at this point, so anybody that's modified anything really, they don't always fit absolutely perfect, especially when you're going from like 1 inch, I believe they were, to 2 inch. Makes a huge difference on clearance. So installed this bad boy when I did the oil change. Anyway, so what I noticed, and this is what I love to do always, is double check everything. My oil catch can had slid down and I didn't tighten it all the way. So I was kind of making that indent right there on my inlet back there. So anyways, just food for thought, you know what I mean? If you're modifying cars or doing stuff in general, it's good to double check everything. I mean, that's my throttle positioners, brand new, inlets, outlets. I mean, water pump, thermostat, boost solenoids, Vano solenoids, and more to come, because I'm gonna do a trans cooler and an intercooler when I get my new bumper. But yeah, for the future. So I'm gonna tighten that guy up real quick. I'm glad I caught that, and we'll go from there. All right, well, I tightened that back up. I'll just keep an eye on it. Everything is pretty much buttoned up. So I wanted to go over what I used, which Obviously you need the parts. I think I got those on Euro Tuning, ECS Tuning, Amazon, wherever you want. 2 ratchets, deep and standard 10 mil, pick tool, 5mm Allen key, magnet, and just a razor blade. And it took me a minute to find my wire that I knew I bought because, like I said, reorganized my garage. Now I'm gonna hook the wires up to my jump box, which is 12 volt, and see if we can't test these boost solenoids and see if they were bad in the first place. So either way, I don't feel bad about upgrading them, so let's check it out and see. All right, pretty simple stuff here. 2 pieces of 16 gauge wire. Cut all the ends. We're gonna clamp the positive and negative to one of these. I didn't have the accurate fittings, so we'll just touch the wire to those. So I had another little project that I did where I have these fittings, just little jumpers, probably my LED lights on my Dodge. But anyways, we'll do all that off camera, put you on the tripod, and then we'll give it a go, see what we get. All right, well, if I catch on fire or explode, I'll still post it all burnt or whatever. So obviously you don't want the ends right here touching when you turn the power on, so I kind of got them separated. So yeah, we'll turn this bad boy on and see what we get. Hopefully one of them's bad, but like I said, if it's not, we won't feel bad about it. No engine start, no tune up slow. Grab these bad boys, set them up. I want to touch these though, that's for sure. All right, you probably couldn't hear that, but this one works. So hopefully, hopefully this one don't, but I'm sure it will. Okay, just. Okay, so they both work, which, I don't know, maybe they're not working as good as they can. Let me see if I can get that to where you can hear it, or I wonder if I can take this bad boy apart so you can see it. See the diaphragm. See if I can do that. Oh shit. Shock my nuts, would suck. See if I can get it to where you can hear it. That bad boy right there. Come on. See if you can hear it on the camera. Hopefully you can hear that and see what I'm doing. Alright, well, they both seem to be functioning fine, which doesn't suck, because it just doesn't suck, because that wasn't a hard job, and it wasn't too expensive, so I always save all this stuff for backup as well. Like I was saying, I save all this stuff for backup as well. I got a little cabinet in here. I got coils and my old throttle valve and some other things as well. So we'll toss these in the box, but I was hoping I could get that to where you could hear that. Cause, well, I reviewed the footage and you can hear it just fine. So anyways, that's how you troubleshoot those. I'm sure you could probably troubleshoot them in the car. I don't think I would have got the code if something wasn't wrong with them. So maybe they're not functioning as well as they should be or something. 2008, they're about 13 years old. Those are the stock factory boost solenoids. So peace of mind, again, you know what I mean? You can't disregard peace of mind at the end of the day. Anyways, please like, subscribe. I'm trying to build this channel. I feel like I put out pretty decent content. I pay for all this stuff myself. I do all this on my own time. So just trying to be helpful, and hopefully it helped one of you guys out there or gals. Like I said, please like, subscribe, and thank you so much for watching my channel.